because I'm very bad. Good afternoon, class 7, and welcome to your 14th January class. So we have found out a singer within us who is going to help you learn remember weather and climate better. And as I said, if he can compose a song that helps you all get good marks in the weather and climate assessment, then we are all going to give him a gift. Let's see what. We can give him a big title of from the class and something like that.
I will rent my house to Aruni.
We will not reveal it now. Who is
along with the new song, the song that he's singing, he has to help us learn through his songs, just like Tansen. But before that, let me do my normal teaching without singing, because I cannot sing and I am not a good singer at all. So I would like to start today's class with a small discussion on, yes, Shishu, please, you can say something. What do you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. I was saying that in the history class, we were talking about the rag of Tansen. I wanted to say that the rag was Meghomallar.
Meghomallar, yes, through which he used to make the rain come. Exactly.
And do we have a test today?
Very
Do we have some kind of a test?
No.
Kind of test today?
This is the previous test.
Why would a test have its answers written in it?
I am just going
wow?
to
Boshak almost got fever.
Today we have a test on Africa.
Yes,
Yes, we have a test.
We have a test.
We have a test.
Yes, we have a test of 30 marks.
Yes, we have it.
We have a test on ABCD today. We have a test on ABCD today.
you all are having a test on this. So, but the good part is today's test, I am only telling the answers. So listen, this was your last
Today is the
test that
test.
you will give. Now, this
Oh
was
my
the
God.
last test that you are going to
Yes,
give.
today is the test. Yes, today is the test.
Now listen, how we expect you all to frame the answers. I'm discussing this because now I will start checking this set, and I will go on sending you the marks like I do. But I want the discussion to be there so that you know. See, very simply, this is a very common way of asking questions in class 10 also. In class 10, you have India. Usually in 10, you very commonly get 1 mark reasonings for quite a few things. Give reason for, or give reason. Okay, like this, 2-3 questions are there where you have to, which is of 1 mark. So for 1 mark, we don't need very big answers. We never expect. So this is a pattern. This is a question pattern that I'm discussing with you. If you, when you will go to class 10, you will buy previous years, you will get to buy previous years questions and answers. There also you will see that, 1 mark reasons, give reasons are very commonly asked. Which big answers are not needed, but how you need to frame. So first question was, grasses are usually shorter and less dense in the temperate grasslands than the tropical grasslands. What are you going to write? Grasses are usually shorter and less dense because the temperate region is comparatively colder and, very important, drier than the tropical ones. The lesser the rainfall, the shorter the grasses, the vegetation becomes more scarce, and there is hardly any, you will find there is hardly any big trees or tall grasses present in that region. This is a very common thing. So please remember, this is one sentence. The colder and drier, the drier the region, the less you will find any kind of vegetation in such a place. Number 2, the temperature over most of Africa is high throughout the year. What is the reason? The temperature is high in most of Africa throughout the year because you have to mention the 2 important latitudes, Tropic of Cancer that passes through the north and Tropic of Capricorn that passes through the south. So this is the main thing. One, tropic passes through the north, one tropic passes through the south. Hence, most of Africa lies in the torrid or tropical zone, which is the hottest region on earth. If you do not mention about the 2 latitudes, Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, you will not be getting full marks here. If you just write,
Is it wrong if you also mention the equator?
no, that is very good enough if you mention that also. But the tropical zone, the torrid zone, is located between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. That you need to mention. Some of you, I know, must have written, it is hot because most of it is in the torrid zone. Why is most of it in the torrid zone? You have to, this is a reason question.
I mean, answer about the grasslands. I mean, instead of writing them like the comparatively cooler and drier part, I have written that, ma'am, the tropical grasslands have temperate climate. Will that do?
Tropical grasslands have temperate. No. You have to write what is temperate climate. You have to mention. You have to mention what is temperate climate. No? Otherwise, it will not do. Number 3. Wind energy cannot be the only source of energy for a country. Why can't wind energy be the only source of energy? Because it is not very dependable, since wind does not blow with a constant speed and force all the time. This is the main thing, that the wind, you can also write. What? Tell.
I wrote wind does not blow at the same rate all the time.
What do you mean by rate? You know, you have to mention speed. You at least mention speed, if not force, at least mention speed. Okay, let me see constant rate all the time, but be more technical in use of your term, be specific with use in these words. So this is most important, because you can also write it this way, because wind blows with a variable speed and it is not constant. You can also write it this way, that wind is very.
Ma'am, can I tell my answer?
Tell the keyword, but this is what I will look forward to. Yes, Soham?
Yes, ma'am, you gave me marks, but I did not write anything about the variable speed. I wrote that wind energy is obviously not the only source of energy for a country, as there are many more ways that a region can get energy. Right?
No. The question is, give reason why wind energy cannot be. It can never, till now, the technology that we have, it cannot be the only source. Even if I have 5 things, why can't I make this the only one? I can't make this the only one because wind does not blow with the same speed. So the same amount of energy cannot be produced all the time. The same amount of energy can never be produced constantly all the time. So this is the reason. Even if I have 10 other sources, why can't I make wind energy the only and the most important one? I can never make it the only and the most important one, because it is not a dependable source of energy. You cannot depend on the wind or the sun, because they are elements of nature. It can be a cloudy day tomorrow. It can be a very less windy day tomorrow. So
Yes, ma'am. Models, we need to keep on our stand fans working and displace the wind
you
in front of them.
you have to. Yes, Ayush, tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I got locked out for a while. Can you say what is going on in the class now?
What is going on? See, I am discussing the last test paper and I am telling you all how to frame the give reason answers and what are the key areas. Okay. Follow, and also the class recording will also be there. Shinjana, tell.
In the A answer, I wrote grasses are usually shorter and less dense in temperate grasslands than in tropical grasslands, because as farther away from the equator region is located, it receives lesser rainfall both in the north and south direction. Temperate grasslands are located in the southeastern part of Africa, therefore
Southeastern part of Africa, that is fine. So you have to mention what is the climate in the temperate region. Climate in the temperate region is colder and drier than the tropical region. You are going to class 8. The reasonings are not difficult. You have to be very clear with them. The question is, give geographical reason for the statement. Grasses are shorter and less dense. Why? Because temperate regions are drier than the tropical regions. With the question, the reason should match. As you move away from the equator, rainfall decreases. Fine, you can start with that. Then you have to write. See, the question is comparison between temperate and tropical, and the comparison should be very clear. Okay. Coming to the next question, the Nile is a perennial river despite flowing through the Sahara Desert. So very simple, the Nile is a perennial river despite flowing through the Sahara, because the source of this river, or the source of the river Nile, lies in the rainy equatorial region of Africa. Or you can start.
The Nile originates from a rainy equatorial.
That is also fine. That is also fine. If you write it that way, that is also fine. Okay. Either way, it's absolutely all right. But you have to write that the river starts, or its source lies in the rainy equatorial region. Next is the heat energy stored in the Earth's interior is called geothermal energy. State whether conventional, non-conventional. Geothermal energy is non-conventional, as we have started using it recently. You can just write it. You have to write it this much. It is non-conventional. Even this time, we have decided to give you the marks, since you all are just learning if you mention non-conventional only. But this is how we expect you to answer at 7, 8, 9, 10 level. Why are you saying non-conventional? You must say so. But this time, since it is only 0.5, even if you mention, we are going to give you full marks. So it is non-conventional, and geothermal energy is renewable in nature, as it is present in large quantities and can be regenerated within a short span of time. The reasoning is how it makes it a complete answer. But even if you have not written it, you will get full marks if the answer is correct. Next is, why would people living in the western part of Africa depend more on cassava rather than wheat? So what is the reason? The western part of Africa is extremely dry. This is a very, very important keyword.
Wheat does not grow better in dry regions. So.
Absolutely. So wheat does not grow better, but why is cassava? Again, understand the question. The question
Drought
is
resistance.
why on cassava rather than wheat. So you have to bring out the comparison very clearly, because cassava is easier to grow and can withstand drought condition for long periods. You can write unlike wheat, or you can mention because unlike
Drought
wheat,
resistant.
which is hardy in nature, or wheat which cannot withstand a long drought condition. Whatever you write, this is again a comparison question. You have to reason out why cassava and not wheat with a particular region. So this has to be very clear, that cassava, because it is easier to grow and can withstand long drought conditions, unlike wheat. If you even write unlike wheat or like that, and the western part of Africa is dry. It's a very dry region. Am I clear how you are to reason out? Next is classify energy resources depending on their stock. Yes, please.
Ma'am, I didn't write the first line, which is like the western part of Africa
is a dry region, but you should be, because it is already asking in the question why people living in the western part would do it. Why western part? Because western side is quite dry. That has to be there. And then you reason it out that cassava is easy to grow and can withstand long drought conditions.
Okay, ma'am.
So when you are reasoning, the reasoning has to be, so understanding of question is very, very important. Okay.
Ma'am, cassava is a root crop.
Cassava is a
root crop.
Root, I think so. I think cassava is a root crop only. Yes. Okay. Now classify energy.
Ma'am, can I tell my answer of that?
See, I'll check it. You just tally, because when I reply, then you can easily relate it. Okay. Classify energy resources depending on their stock. Give examples. So depending on the stock, it is renewable and non-renewable. Any one example for each you will get marks. Okay, this is a very direct question. Half 1 mark and half 1 mark. Just one example will do. At least one example for renewable, one example for non-renewable. Yes, if you give renewable 2 examples and no example for non-renewable, then you will not get marks. For renewable also you have to give example. For non-renewable also you will have to give example. Please
But
remember
nuclear
that.
energy is non-renewable.
Nuclear energy is no, nuclear energy can be renewed. There is a process
It is
of
renewable.
reversing. There are ways of reversing fission fusion. There is some chemical way of, there are ways of doing it. For
And we can
now,
also induce to
But
get
in the
more
book it
thorium and
was
uranium.
given in the non-renewable section.
But we can also, but we can induce
Yes.
other materials to make more uranium and thorium.
but
Induce
okay,
them
just and let me just check one moment. Nuclear energy, then we'll go to non-renewable part. Yes, just
Yes,
because
ma'am.
the
Is it
available
correct?
amount will be there. Yes, available amount will be there. Let me just check. I'll come back to you 1 minute on this. Nuclear
And
energy
then
will be
renewable-
non-renewable for the this one, the stock of the materials from which this energy like uranium, thorium, those minerals are limited in quantity. Correct. I will change this. Thank you for bringing it to my notice. Thank you.
And ma'am, I also wrote wood in the renewable resources.
Renewable source wood. That is fine. Wood forests can be regrown.
Wood is a energy.
And ma'am, can we write in non-renewable resources only fossil fuels?
Fossil fuels. Okay, fossil fuels I'll give you marks. Fossil fuels, if you write, I will give you marks. Try to give examples in future, but if you mention fossil fuels, then also it's correct because they are all fossil fuels only. So example, fossil fuels, you will get marks. Next is explain the impact of climate on natural vegetation with examples from Africa. Again, this is a 2 marks question. What are the things? So firstly, see how you start such an answer. The climatic components, temperature and rainfall has a very important impact on the natural vegetation of any region. So first only I'm saying what are the 2 components? I introduce the answer with this, that the climatic components are temperature and rainfall, or sunlight and rainfall, some can write. Insolation and rainfall you can write. Insolation, precipitation you can write. Whatever you write, the word can be up and down, but these are the 2 key words. Then you write how the vegetation changes with climate. Firstly, the central part of Africa near the equator is hot and wet.
Ma'am, I have written just dry and rugged.
I have written
The dry and rugged in the impact of climate.
I'll have to read your answer before I mark you, okay?
Ma'am, I have written
Because
everything,
answers
but
will vary.
I have not written in points. I've written all these only.
This is important that you do. So learn to write these answers in points. So firstly,
written
you will
exactly
this
this
has to
thing.
be very clear that hot and wet, you have equatorial forests, which are evergreen. More rainfall, it's hot and humid. Hence, you can write hot and humid or high levels of rainfall, whatever you write. Such areas will always have evergreen forests. Next, north and south, as we move away, rainfall, very, very important. Temperature and rainfall decreases. Here, who was saying that the temperature and rainfall decreases as we move north and south? Here you bring that relation, bring that connection here. So,
I said.
so as we move north and south, both temperature and especially rainfall decreases. So from forest, we are going to grasslands. No tall trees, no nothing. So from forests, we are moving to grasslands. Here in grasslands, this is for 2 marks. So half year in grasslands, please mention again, lesser rainfall, drier region, temperate grasslands, little more rainfall, tropical grasslands. More rainfall, tropical grasslands, tall grasses, less rainfall, short, less dense grasses, temperate grasslands. So I would like to see both the examples mentioned here, half and half. And lastly, absolutely in the north and south, very little rainfall. Hence, what type of vegetation? Desert type of
Desert.
So maximum rainfall, evergreen forests. Less rainfall, grasslands. This you will find for every continent. Every continent, remember this. Maximum rainfall will be equatorial rainforests. Less rainfall, you will find grasslands and deciduous dry forests. And extremely less rainfall, desert type of vegetation. Am I clear? So each has half marks.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can I tell my answer once? Can you tell it is okay or not?
See, I will check your copy. Okay, tell quickly.
Yes, ma'am. I have wrote that if the climate of a region is rainy, most of the time the trees and grass of the region will thus grow a lot and the area will be dampy due to less sunlight received in the area. This can also be found in Africa. In Africa, the equatorial region has a huge amount of annual rainfall, thus having a lot more trees and tall grass. When we move away from the equator, the savannas can be found which have lower annual precipitation. Then near the Tropic of Capricorn, grasslands can be found called the temperate grasslands where rainfall is pretty low. Then towards the north and south of Africa, there are deserts where rainfall is pretty rare. This much.
There are desert and desert type of vegetation. Maybe a 1.5 out of 2 I will give you for this answer. Firstly, in rainforest, don't mention grasses only. Mention tall, dense trees and forests, evergreen forests. The vegetation will always be evergreen forest if the rainfall is very high. And vegetation in the desert region is desert type of dry vegetation. More or less, otherwise you have related it with rainfall, which is fine. Okay, so this is one thing. Now, this is how you will do.
He said that the equatorial region is damp because it doesn't receive much sunlight. So I think that one
It is
wrong.
dampy because of the very high level of rainfall. It gets a lot of sunlight, but the amount of rainfall, it receives rainfall almost every day. Hence, the floor of the equatorial forests are very damp because of a high amount of rainfall.
But
And
there are many
layers and
trees
layers
also,
and
so
layers and
how
layers
does it reach the ground?
Sunlight doesn't reach the ground because of layers and layers of vegetation. Okay. Please work on such application type questions because application type questions are very commonly means there are lots of things that can be asked from weather and climate as well. Now, weather and climate, you have learned temperature, you have learned pressure. There is one thing about this part that is that I am left to discuss with you. That is what are isobars and what are isotherms. Just hold on a minute. Okay. Yes, I would like to discuss this part. Now, you already know what are the instruments and we find out the temperature in degrees Celsius. We find out pressure in millibar. All these things are fine. We have already done them. The question is what are isobars and what are isotherms? Isotherms and why are they very important? Isobars and isotherms are extremely important in weather predictions. Now, isotherm, T-H-E-R-M, therm stands for temperature. They are lines joining places having same temperature. Isobars are lines joining places having same pressure. Now, suppose I have done in my board a simple example of two isotherm. Okay, let's say place A, place B, place A, place C, place E. All three of them have a temperature that is reduced to sea level of 23 degrees Celsius. So I have drawn an isobar. sorry, isotherm. Isotherm, I've drawn a line that joins the places, all the places of the, all the places in a region that have 23 degrees Celsius temperature. Now, when I'm joining these places, this line is called the first isotherm of 23 degrees Celsius. Then I have drawn few more places like place D, place B, and place F. These three places have 27 degrees Celsius reduced to sea level because we are eliminating the impact of altitude. With altitude, places vary. So whatever is the climate, we are bringing it down to the sea level, which has the height of 0 meters. We always
Ma'am,
see
do the lines overlap?
never. I'll come to that. You will see. So B, D, B, and F, these three have 27 degrees. So this is another isotherm, which is of 27 degrees Celsius. So these are lines joining places having same temperature reduced to the sea level. Why reduced to sea level? Because we don't want the impact of altitude to be there. Now, what is the importance? Why do we draw these lines on maps and regions? We draw these lines on maps. The isotherms help us in in dividing a region into heat zones. So you see, based on these two isotherms, I have divided my region into 3 heat zones. This part above 27 degrees Celsius, this is a warm region. So the northern part of the area is a warm region which is having temperature higher than 27 degrees Celsius. So it's quite warmer. The southern part is less than 23 degrees Celsius. So I can say that it is the comparatively cooler region. In between 27 to 23 degrees Celsius, I can say the place has a moderate climate. So with the help of isotherms, this way I can divide any region into different heat zones. I can demarcate which areas are cooler, which regions are warmer. So this way the scientists have, the meteorologists, they always demarcate and they can understand if an area is in the torrid zone, how much insolation is it receiving. So if more insolation, higher temperature, less insolation, less temperature. This way the heat zones, even within we say torrid zone, temperate zone, frigid zone, but even within a country, even within a small state, there can be difference in temperature, and difference in temperature plays a major role in affecting the other elements of weather. Yes, Idant, what is your question?
Ma'am, isotherms only give us the information that this place's temperature is equal to this place temperature. They don't give us what the temperature is.
See, isotherms, basically, we join the places having similar temperature, and then it helps us in demarcating which are the hotter regions of the earth, which are the colder regions, not only of the earth. Suppose I have drawn isotherms on the map of India. I want to know in India, which are the cooler regions, which are the hotter regions. So I find out the average temperature, the mean temperature, let's say the mean yearly temperature of all the places, all the big cities of India. And then I draw isotherms joining the big cities. And then I can demarcate which region of India is hotter, which region of India is cooler, which region of India has a moderate temperature. This helps us in taking many decisions further. Okay, many further decisions can be taken with the help of this. In the same way, this I have drawn for temperature. Instead of temperature, if isobars would have been drawn, then it would have been based on pressure. Air pressure, right? Isobars are extremely important in the study of weather and climate, because isobars tell you how the pressure changes from one place to another. And depending on that, we determine the wind movement of the world. The wind movement not only of the world from any place to any place. If isobars are very close to each other, closely spaced isobars. Let's take, there are, isobars which are very, very close to each other. Okay, let's see if the isobars are very closely spaced. Okay, maybe 1000 millibar, 1020 millibar, 40 millibar, 60 millibar. Quickly, the isobars are changing, very closely spaced. We say that the pressure is changing very fast from one place to the other. Hence, the more the isobars are close to each other and the more the isobars, that means the weather is going to be very windy. Wind speed is going to be very high. Okay, because the higher the difference in pressure, the faster the wind blows. The higher the difference in pressure, the faster the wind blows. On the contrary, suppose this is one isobar, this is one isobar, like this. Big gaps between isobars. So we say, see, such a big area has been covered for a little change in pressure. So the pressure is not changing very fast. If the pressure is changing very slowly, we say that the wind speed will not be very high. The wind will blow with slow speed. This is how, whether a storm is coming, whether a cyclone is coming, whether it is a tornado, whether it's a cyclone, what is the condition? We get to know, we can make predictions by drawing isobars. In case of cyclones, when we have cyclones like Amphan, which are coming, you will always have isobars. Just a minute, which are round in shape. Isobars.
Yes,
I
I've
don't think
seen
you have ever
in the
seen
weather
this in
report and all.
weather report. Absolutely, weather report. You will see very closely spaced isobars like this. Suppose, and there is low pressure in the middle, and there is high pressure on the outside. Okay, and very fast the pressure will change. Okay, if this is maybe 1000 millibar, this is 1050, this is 2000, this is 2050. So very quickly pressure is changing within a short area. Then the higher the more the difference in pressure, the faster the wind blows. Remember this, the more the difference in pressure, the faster the wind blows. The slowly the pressure changes, the more slow will be the wind speed. Now we find this out, what is the speed of the wind, using an instrument called an anemometer. Okay, an anemometer. And an anemometer, it basically has 4 cups. Have you seen an anemometer? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
If you okay,
No.
Google
Yes,
out
ma'am,
and
I have seen in the airport and all.
Taking a model for that.
like this is an anemometer. So 3 cups of one color and 1 cup of one different color, and you have the directions given at the bottom, and it is connected to a speedometer at the bottom. Now as the wind comes, it is in the cup shape because the wind makes the cups rotate, and there is one point. So one cup is colored differently because how many times this differently colored cup is passing through one point. The faster the anemometer rotates, that means the faster the wind is blowing. So we look at that one differently colored cup, how many times it is crossing one particular point. So the more faster it rotates, so the more number of times it will cross a particular point, the differently colored one, the faster the wind. And that can be recorded, and the speed, now it has a speedometer type of.
You can understand because of the color.
Yes, you can understand it because of the color, and the speedometer also
Distinguish.
records the wind. Understood? So
Yes, ma'am.
pressure, what is isobar, what is isotherm, what is the importance of them? Isobar helps us in demarcating the different heat zones of the world. Isotherms and isobars help us in knowing the wind speed and wind direction. From which direction to which direction will wind blow? Wind will always blow from a high pressure to a low pressure
Low
region.
pressure region.
Yes. So that is the importance of isobars. And we get to know the wind speed with the help of an anemometer. Okay, we'll keep it till here and continue on Monday.
Can you tell the last